are DDS hypocrites for criticizing Pura but not criticizing Duterte for the same reasons? So let's go ahead and read this article. Ama namin blasphemy, Bishop unearths seeds from Duterte years. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this. Lingayen Dagupan Archbishop Socrates Villegas, challenged Filipino Catholics on Saturday, July 15th to look at themselves and examine their consciences, even as they criticized the blasphemous viral video of Filipino drag queen Pura Luka Vega. The video showed Pura Luka Vega in a Jesus costume while the crowd danced to a rock version of Ama Namin, the foundational prayer of Christianity, since it is believed to have been taught by Christ himself. Okay. Let me see this. Villegas, one of the staunchest critics of former President Duterte, cited the seeds of blasphemy that were planted during Duterte's 6 years in office. Okay. Duterte was known to attack the Catholic Church before and after he became president of this predominantly Catholic country. During his presidential campaign, Duterte called Pope Francis a son of a bitch. When he was already chief executive, Duterte said God is stupid, and he also urged Filipinos to kill bishops. Damn. Then, this is the last thing I'm going to read. Villegas said, the seeds for the scandalous video were already planted in the field when we allowed vulgarity by high leaders in government to become a joking matter. Our cooperative indifference and supportive laughter as we heard those vulgarities make us accomplices in blasphemy. This was a small beginning, like the seed of weeds. So I think there's enough context in this case. So I'm just gonna explain my basic thoughts on this, and then I'm gonna read the tweets that I had about it, because that's what I'm doing. So first, when he said that priests should look at themselves and examine their consciences, even as they criticize the blasphemous viral video, I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot who would think that what Duterte said about God and religion in general back then was as offensive as what Pura Luka Vega did. Now, maybe some people are lacking in context, but I mean, what Duterte said was honestly just a bunch of like little statements here now. And I'm not downplaying what he said, and also okay, let's go ahead and read this already. So I'm saying, it is in fact hypocritical to not criticize Duterte and then criticize this. That's true. But I think the reason why people see it differently is in the nature of their mockery. Duterte's quips about the church and God in general was more tongue-in-cheek, akin to saying, oh my, which is, it's pretty bad, to be fair. Whereas a drag performer's rendition of Ama Namin, wherein he represents himself as Jesus for the sake of entertainment, is, I would think, a much more severe form of mockery and insult to the church itself. So let's go a little further. No, actually, that was my whole tweet. So I had a commenter here, which is pretty interesting. He actually did my counter talking points for me. So thank you, sir. Saint Michel. So I'm assuming this dude is Catholic somehow. Duterte wasn't doing that tongue-in-cheek. Hold on, let me take off the camera. Duterte wasn't doing that tongue-in-cheek. Folks excuse this behavior because of how much they think highly of him, and it might be true that there are fathers who did act the way he did. He made himself a father figure and alloyed that with his take no prisoners attitude, and voila, people loved and still loved him. What the Archbishop is pointing out is how giving him a pass acts like that performance more permissible. Of course, the corollary of that is that many Filipinos do indeed have double standards. So I am actually in agreement with this guy in terms of the double standards, because at least with DDS. Now I'm not sure how others felt about this, because maybe they were shocked, but in the case of Duterte, he has been known to say a lot of outrageous things. It doesn't make what he said about religion any less distasteful, but nevertheless, he did say a lot more of those things, and it wasn't. In my opinion, it wasn't as intentional as what Pura Luka Vega did. So if we're making like a moral comparison, then in terms of the double standards issue, yes, I do think DDS is a little hypocritical for condemning him. But although there's a nuance to this, but just in general, it is a little hypocritical. Anyway, what I replied here was, if we're going to focus on people's subjective perceptions, then yeah, that's kind of true. But if we're talking religious accountability, the nuance here is in the type of content posted by the offending parties. The difference between what Duterte was saying and what Pura performed is the difference between an incessant tweet where they tweeted like, what popped up in their head. So like their violent thoughts. And what Pura did, which is like a concert rehearsal where the appeal was specifically to make fun of Jesus and belittle its religious sanctity by reducing it to entertainment. So hopefully with that, you guys saw what the difference was in terms of like how insulting what they did was to religion or to Catholicism or Christianity. So below, I said that, kakampings and Dilawans keep making this talking point, not realizing what the psychology is behind the double standard. Yes, I wholeheartedly stand by that statement because, they just want to stick it to Duterte, even though, the nuance here is, of course, the nature in which the offense was made. Because, there's levels to it. That's all I'm saying. There's levels to the offense, and what Pura did was so much worse. Does that make people not hypocritical? No. So they are a little hypocritical. I will say that. But we need to understand the psychology, and we need to realize that, people are thinking about these things like in their thought process rationally. One is